Welcome. We have Kevin Mitnick at SecureTV. Kevin, welcome.
Thank you.
We are here in Juniper with in Las Vegas at the partner conference. Kevin, you gave a great speech. A lot of people in the Netherlands know you, know of course your book.
Well, I have some history in the Netherlands.
You had some history in the Netherlands?
Yeah, back in 1991, 1992, I was involved with a group called Hactic that was run by a guy named Rob.
Okay.
Gunrop. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I don't speak Dutch pretty. Anyway, he founded Hactic, and they had in this building near the airport these dial-up modems. And they called this the domain. I mean, the domain they had was Access for All. Yeah, and then they ended up selling it to the phone company, and I think they became multimillionaires, and now they do crypto phone, and I mean, yeah. So I know these guys when I was a black hat back in the early 90s, and I used to talk with a few of them like every day.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Oh, small world,
yeah.
Kevin. Hey, with regards to your book, I read your book, and it's really funny, especially if you see the beginning, with only the telephones, the things you did. And if you look today now at the hacking, I think life is much more easier now with all the social media.
Yeah, well, it's two dynamics. It's easier because there's a lot more tools out there, like technical exploitation. Metasploit is one of my favorite tools. You have Canvas, as another one of my favorite tools, but it's a commercial tool. These tools weren't available back in my day, and companies today are a lot more smarter. They're more security aware. They're reading about all their partners being compromised and their confidential data being leaked on the internet, like Stratfor and Zappos in the last couple of weeks, and at the same time, back in my day, there weren't exploitation frameworks available. You had to do it yourself. I mean, you had to, you'd share maybe exploits between, friends that had similar interest. And back then, computer businesses weren't as security aware as they are today. So the dynamic has kind of shifted. Well, now you have the tools and companies are more security aware. The tools make it easier. The awareness makes it a little bit harder. Back then, it was the opposite. You had no tools available, but nobody was security aware, right? So it's kind of like, today the trend has changed, from the hobbyist hacker that I was to now people are doing it for money.
And if you look, because the book is famous, it's about 25 years. Just if you make a prediction, we're sitting here in 25 years again. We both have gray hair, maybe. What do you see with regards to the security then? Still the same things?
No, I think technology will evolve. Complexity evolves, and there'll be new products, new services. It's hard for me to guess what the problem, what future security problems we have on the horizon. I think they're definitely going to be there. It's like crime. We never solve the problem of crime. We still have police, but at the same day, I'm not really worried about the future threats, because we only need to look at the current threats and we still have a problem. The current threats haven't been mitigated to a reasonable degree. And the current threats are being used against consumers and businesses day in and day out.
Yeah, because that topic with regards to the current threats, you read a lot, everybody talks now about malware. Today it's very hard to talk about APTs.
I think that's a buzzword, APT, Advanced Persistent Threat.
Yeah.
All that means is attackers get in and they're able to stay in your network. Well, I was doing this 20 years ago. I mean, I was really effective at staying in for Digital Equipment Corporation, which is now HP, I was in their network for 10 years. They couldn't get me out, okay? And we're talking, that's in the 70s. We're 30 years later, right? And they just created a buzzword. I mean, it's the same thing. Once an attacker gets into your network, it's extremely difficult, and you really have to do a lot of hard work to eradicate the threat.
Hey, and Kevin, you're the world's most famous hacker. Eh? We saw this great clip. But if you would have, let's say, 3 takeaways for the companies, the big enterprises also in the Netherlands. So from your advice, from your experience, because you have now also the company doing penetrating testing, but what would be your 3 tips, to the people looking at this SecureTV?
I think we need training and educating the user, looking at the desktop software. Back in my day, it was exploiting client side. Server side. Looking for bugs in SSHD, bugs in, Telnet, certain types of services that are exposed by servers and trying to exploit them. Now it's all moved to the client side. So you have two components. You have the social engineering component to trick the user into doing some sort of action. And when they do that action, it exploits a technical flaw. Case in point, sending a booby-trapped PDF file. What the attacker wants is the user to open that. So they do a lot of research, a lot of information reconnaissance, so they can convince the user to open that file because it will come from somebody they maybe do business with, okay, or someone that they know through social networking. And then once the person opens that, say that booby-trapped PDF file, it exploits a vulnerability in Adobe Acrobat. And that's how the attacker is able to get in full control of the computer. So the same type of thing is, it's really everything has moved from server side to now social engineering plus client side. That's where, and that's one vector. The other applications, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, wireless networks. I mean, there was a new attack that just came out for consumers when they want to hit the one button to set up their access point. There's a piece of software out there that now where you're able to brute force the PIN to obtain the WPA key. Right. So I mean, the attacks are evolving. The attackers are getting smarter. Security industry is trying to help businesses deal with that risk, but it's a constant cat and mouse game. So I think the future is the cat and mouse game will still go on, but it will be different vectors and different threats, different types of attacks.
Okay, thank you. Just one last question, and then we end this interview because you're a busy man. Everybody knows you, of course, from the hacking and going from maybe the wrong side, depending on how you interpret that, to the good side.
Right.
But what do you do besides hacking also? I saw you these nice cards with lockpicking. So,
yeah. Well, actually, one of the best lockpickers is in the Netherlands, a guy named Barry Wheels. He was with Rop's group. I think he still works with Cryptophone. He has a website called Tool, TOOOL.nl. I mean, this guy is like, he's just amazing lockpicker. Well, these are my business cards, and what's kind of cool is it's a breakout lockpick set. So, but it's really a novelty because it's not as rigid as a real pick and not as long, but it's kind of a novelty. So I had a production company in New York call me, and they go, "Hey, is this Kevin Mitnick?" I go, "Yes." And they, thank you so much. We locked our suite key into the men's restroom, and we actually used your card to pick the lock. Thank you so much. So I was, oh, cool, that's pretty nice. But it's a breakout lockpick set, so it's kind of unique. People love it, and they're expensive to make. They're a couple bucks a piece, but I love giving them out. It's like it's a cool toy.
Okay.
And here's a couple for you.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having you on SecureTV. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.